A two-year backup to the legendary Jim Brown, Leroy Kelly was asked to fill some big shoes when Brown suddenly retired in 1966. An ominous assignment that was answered with a league-leading 15 touchdowns and over 1,100 yards rushing. Leroy followed with 2 rushing titles, 2 punt return titles, a scoring title, 5 All-NFL teams, and 6 Pro Bowls. The credentials of a true Hall of Fame career. The NFL alumni honored Leroy last month and brought together many of the Brown greats like Hall of Famers Paul Warfield and Marion Motley, and gave Leroy the chance to meet possible future Hall of Famers like Ozzie Newsome. Leroy Kelly becomes just the 21st modern-day running back to enter the Hall of Fame.
There's so many people, like my teammates in high school, in college, and professional, that is the reason why I'm here today. I'm not going to start naming them because I'll be up here all day. But I just want to tell them, I want them to share this honor with me. It's a great honor. It has made me very happy and made me very proud to be the 1994 inductees into the National Football League Pro Hall of Fame.
An unknown 10th round draft choice out of northwestern Louisiana proved to be one of the St. Louis Cardinals' greatest players. Jackie Smith redefined the role of the tight end, combining the punishing toughness with the speed of a wide receiver. For 15 seasons with the Cards and a final one with the Cowboys, Jackie had 480 catches for just under 8,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. A ferocious competitor with great hands and amazing speed, Jackie was named to the Pro Bowl 5 times. Today, Jackie still resides in St. Louis and works in the shadow of the arch on the Casino Queen, where he is the director of marketing and public relations. But his family is his focus, and he can be found maintaining those competitive juices, working out with his son Greg, who has been able to overcome the obstacles of diabetes and is a sophomore fullback at the University of Missouri. Jackie Smith becomes just the 3rd tight end to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame.
This is an overwhelming day. It's an overwhelming honor, which I accept with great pride on behalf of all of my team members. The Football Hall of Fame, it's a place where my great-great-grandchildren can come and where Grandpa can forever remain young and forever catch passes. And where they can realize, as I do today, that dreams really do come true. And thank you very much.
From the moment he joined the Cowboys as a first-round pick in 1975, Randy White terrorized the opposition. A player without ego, Randy's burning desire to succeed and legendary work ethic paid off as he missed only 1 game in 14 seasons. All-Pro 8 straight times and 9 straight Pro Bowls highlight a career that also includes a co-MVP in Super Bowl 12. Randy White set a standard by which defensive tackles will be measured in the future. Randy's still a Cowboy and somehow seems to fit more than 24 hours into the day. He has been studying the martial arts for almost 20 years. He has a successful restaurant in downtown Dallas. And he's a spokesman for a local car dealership. But when he wants to get away, fishing has always been his escape. Randy White is still a man on the move, and today he moves into the Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility.
I tell you, when I found out I was retiring in 1989, I called my mother, who's sitting down here. And I told her, Mom, I'm going to retire. I wanted her to know before I told anybody else. And she said, well, Randy, she said, yeah, that's good. Well, maybe someday you'll get in the Hall of Fame before I die. Well, Mom, I tell you what, you're here and I'm here. And I tell you what, I'm proud to have you here and be a part of this with me. Thank you.
It has become very popular for automakers to imitate Lexus advertising. But apparently, that's all they've been able to imitate. Because once again, Lexus has been ranked best overall car line in initial quality. And this year, all 4 Lexus models ranked among the top 10 in initial quality, which makes this one Lexus commercial no one can copy.
The Lexus Halftime Report has been brought to you by Lexus Luxury Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. We'll be back with the second half kickoff after this from our ABC stations.
Saturday on the commish.
Showtime, folks.
Tony takes on a gangster.
You set me up.
Who gets even by framing Tony's wife.
I didn't hit that man, Tony. I swear I didn't.
I can't let my wife go to prison.
The Commish, Saturday, here on ABC.
I'm on after Roseanne. I am on after Roseanne. My name is Ellen. After Roseanne. I am on after Roseanne.
Ellen moves to Tuesdays after Roseanne, starting this Tuesday here on ABC.
So, what's a Hymenoptera formicide?
An ant.
What do roaches eat?
Lint, grease.
How can you answer your office phone at a different location?
I have no idea.
Well, you can't be an expert at everything. So to help with your phones, US West created the Small Business Group. We'll answer your questions and help you run your business the way you want to. After all, you know bugs.
One of the favorite entrees of the Black Widow is the mop.
And we know phones. The Small Business Group at US West.
It's Saturday and Lotto plays here. Tonight's jackpot, an estimated $5.5 million. Big bucks for big dreams. See it first. See it live right before News Channel 3.
These Lotto tickets are hot and going like crazy. Folks are really excited about that huge jackpot. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Howell. Join me tonight at 10 for the live Lotto drawing, and maybe you'll be Arizona's newest millionaire.
See it first. See it live tonight at 10 right before News Channel 3. You thought you'd seen truck sales. Well, this weekend, Larry Miller Toyota will sell more Toyota trucks than you ever imagined possible. Why? Because we're slashing the price of every truck $500 to $3,000 under dealer invoice. Not one truck, not some trucks. Every truck. Every 2x4, 4x4, long bed, short bed, extend cab, T100. Every truck in stock up to $3,000 under dealer cost. Yes, Virginia, if you want a Toyota truck and you miss this sale, you're nuts. Larry Miller Toyota's Total Truck Blowout.
Patty Kirkpatrick, weeknights at 6 on News Channel 3.
The AFC-NFC Hall of Fame game, brought to you by Lincoln Mercury and the complete line of 1994 Mercury automobiles, and the 54,000 new employee owners of United Airlines. Come fly our friendly skies.
We're back in Canton, Ohio. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf as we begin the 25th anniversary season of Monday Night Football on a Saturday afternoon. Randy White and the rest of the Hall of Famers being paraded around Fawcett Stadium in Canton, Ohio on a very warm, pleasant, about 80-degree afternoon before a typical capacity crowd.
I think it's the last official function of the new enshrinees is that they circle the field. They're introduced to the crowd out at the 50-yard line, and other than their visit up here to the booth in the second half, I believe that their Hall of Fame weekend has officially come to a close. And there'll be some tired puppies. These guys have been going on 4 hours sleep for a couple of days.
San Diego kicks. Mike Hollis kicks off to start the second half, and this was Tony Smith with a flag going down, returning it to the 33. Well, the unofficial part of the weekend is pretty good, though. I know Dan tonight is hosting a gathering for Jackie Smith.
It's going to be fun. He deserves it, and it'll be fun to wind down a little bit.
It's a pleasant exhaustion, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Family and your friends, and I tell you, it's just so homey here, Dan. They make you feel so comfortable, and you think of all the traditions and history.
Return team, number 99, 10-yard penalty, first down.
NFL born right here in Canton, Ohio, 75 years ago.
Frank, when you get a chance, just talk a little bit about the gathering that the Hall of Famers have on Friday afternoon. It's the first chance for the new guys to rub shoulders with the prior guys. Just talk about it a little bit.
It is fun. I'll leave out the adjective. Atlanta starts from the 20-yard line, and Galliano is still the quarterback, and Ironhead is still in the game, and Ironhead with a gain of 15. Hayward takes it out to the 35-yard line. Well, it is a luncheon where just the Hall of Fame members who come back, and they have 10th anniversary returnees. They have a 20th anniversary returnee, and of course a lot of the Cleveland Browns, the Steelers show up, and I would say there's anywhere 50 to 60 Hall of Famers, and they meet the new inductees, and each Hall of Famer gets up and says something, or tries to. Nitschke is the wildest, can I tell you? He storms around the room. He's still looking for somebody to hit, but it's a special, special time.
Well, with ABC doing the Hall of Fame game every year, I assume you have the best attendance record.
I do. 24th.
Hayward up to the 36. And now that we've got the Pro Bowl back, we'll end the season with a look at the new class, because they're always announced that week, and it follows the Super Bowl. We'll be in Honolulu this year and have our first look at the guys who will go in the class of 95.
I talked about the new Hall of Famers. Al, you can tell us a little about the hotels over there.
I certainly can. We're already booked.
Well, I just hope we live up to those lofty expectations.
We will.
Well, we did fairly well for a lot of years.
2nd and 8 from the 37-yard line, and a leaping catch is made by Darrell Spencer at the 45-yard line of San Diego. That's an Atlanta first down, an 18-yard pickup.
People just start calling him White Shoes Spencer. He keeps catching the ball and taking the hit like that afterwards and holding on to it.
Hey, there's some jobs open here, too, for receivers. We touched on it already. The 3 starters from this 4-receiver offense that are gone: Pritchard, Haynes, Hill, and this was a good move by Spencer. Finds an opening gap.
Well, he had to spin all the way around. You know, a lot of guys can catch the ball, and not everybody has to spin all the way around and then take a couple of good pops like that and hold on to it. That's a guy who's able to play in the National Football League.
Locked down at the line of scrimmage.
One thing with this offense, the receivers know they are going to get hit.
That's Reggie White. No, not the Reggie White, but a Reggie White knocking it down.
I mean, the defenses are coached that way. You get one of these, and they are not big receivers that come across the middle. You look at Bert Emanuel, a 2nd-round pick out of Rice, 175-pounder, 5'10". You've got some Jason Phillips, 5'7", 166 pounds. You know, these are little people getting hit by big people. They've got to concentrate on holding on to the football and the helmet.
2nd and 10 at the 45-yard line. Galliano, look out from behind, and he's able to pick up a yard, taking it to the 44-yard line before he is chased down by Cornell Thomas.
Luckily for Galliano, he was running towards his own bench, and you can actually hear his teammates yelling, "Look out behind, look out behind."
What a great shot. Good work, guys.
You can see that it registered with Galliano about 4 yards. He kicked it up a level to keep from taking the big hit. Thomas was right on it. I don't think he'd have gotten that assistance if he'd have been running towards the San Diego bench.
3rd and 9 at the 44. And the catch is made short of the first down. Bert Emanuel only to the 38, though. It's going to be 4th and 3 with 12 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. June Jones in his debut as the Falcons coach, looking on as his team trails 17-7.
Boy, you have to like his chances to be a successful head coach also. He's very bright, has a great background as a player out of Portland State. Where else? Hawaii, he played there. He played at Oregon. Dan Fouts. He's been around, and he's got a great attitude.
Harold Alexander angles that kick, and they will march it off and see where it went out. And they'll spot it at the 14-yard line.
By the way, I've had a lot of people ask me, what's June's first name, his real first name? It's June. That's his christened name, in case you were wondering.
It's his middle name.
We're using high-resolution robotic cameras in order to give you a closer look at the fit and finish of our Lincoln cars. To achieve this kind of quality, we not only employ technologically advanced machines, we also employ dedicated people who bring to Lincoln a craftsmanship that can't be duplicated by a mere machine. Sorry, fellas. Lincoln, what a luxury car should be.
I remember the day I said goodbye to baseball. I promised myself minor arthritis pain wouldn't hold me back. And hey, I gotta use this shoulder. That's why I still want strong relief. So I use Ultra Strength Bengay. It has 3 pain relievers. They only have 1. And doctors recommend Bengay the most. I promised myself arthritis pain wouldn't hold me back. Bengay helps me keep that promise. Ultra Strength Bengay. Nothing stronger.
If you demand more from an aftershave than alcohol burn, you gotta try alcohol-free Sensitive with cooling Sensates. It's proof aftershave doesn't have to hurt to work. Take the heat out of aftershave. Demand proof. Try alcohol-free Sensitive from Old Spice.
Rust is tough, but Krylon, the leader in spray paint, is tougher. Krylon Rust Tough goes on Krylon smooth, dries Krylon fast, protects Krylon tough. Rust may be tough, but Krylon Rust Tough is tougher.
11:31 to go in the third quarter. 17-7 San Diego.
It was a good one, but not fit for air.
Well, hot day, but we've been here when it's been a lot hotter again. Temperature today around 80 degrees. San Diego at the 13-yard line. And this is Tony Vincent, a rookie from Towson State, picking up 2. And let's get a sideline report from Lynn Swan.
Al, I talked with Bob Ross at halftime, and he thought his team was playing just okay. Was very disappointed with the number of penalties. In particular, Isaac Davis getting called for a couple of holding penalties. He thought the rookie Vaughn Parker was playing well, but he's just going to play a lot of young players a lot in the second half to try and rest them in this heat and really give them a good evaluation. Pretty much the same thing on the sideline with June Jones, where he's going to feature in the second half Perry Klein and Jamal Anderson on his offense. Al?
All right, Swanee, here we've got San Diego 2nd and 8 at the 18-yard line. Gail Gilbert hands the ball off to Tony Vincent, and the rookie goes next to nowhere. 3rd down and long upcoming.
Again, it's a tough field. There was a lot of rain on it last night. There are a lot of divots, and it's very difficult for a running back to cut back. You saw it again right there. Look at the size of these divots that are being taken out of this field. I don't see any way they have of covering it, Dan. I don't know whether they can or not, but I don't see any rolls of tarpaulin or anything. So I just think this is whatever happens, this field gets it.
If you're hitting an 80-yard sandwich, that's a pretty sight, isn't it?
Yeah.
3rd and 8. And Gilbert's going to take off and gets out to the 21. He's short of the first down. Lemuel Stinson, the ex-Chicago Bear, makes the stop as Jones goes over some things with the rookie Bert Emanuel.
And I think that's a scene that might get played out a lot in the coming years here in Atlanta. Emanuel has the look of a player that's here for a while. And June Jones prides himself on his people skills, his ability to get along with a player, not just as a player, but he's one of those coaches that wants to know everything about their personal lives and wants to be involved.
Darren Bennett, the Aussie, it's a wobbly kick. And it's a 39-yard kick as it spins out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Better luck next time, mate. 9:27 to go in the 3rd.
If there's one thing that separates us, that makes us different from all other living things, it's the desire for a chance, for one shining opportunity to see how high, how far we can go. Well, the people of United Airlines just got one of those chances. Today, the 54,000 men and women who built this airline now own this airline. Come fly our friendly skies.
Please be seated. The performance is about to begin. the 32-valve, 280 horsepower Lincoln Mark 8. It's like Beethoven with an attitude. Drive everything else first.
Sunday, can Lois save the world from a deadly computer virus?
Are you ladies finished?
Melanie Mayron guest stars. Lois and Clark, Sunday on ABC.
Here's the new quarterback, Perry Klein, who was a very highly touted high school quarterback in Southern California, chose to go to Cal, didn't get the playing time he wanted, then transferred to Little C.W. Post. And the Falcons have drafted him. They want him to be their number 3 quarterback, and he gets his baptism under fire here on what appears to have been a busted play as he tried to hand the ball off and winds up taking it and picks up about 9 as he gets out to the 49-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 1, and Junior Seau may be done for the day. Well, Hall of Fame, our next enshrinee to visit with us in the booth is one Jimmy Johnson, a great defensive back for years with the San Francisco 49ers. Did you ever think this day was going to come for you, Jimmy?
Well, to be very honest, Al, I didn't give it much thought, you know. I just kind of got on with my life, and this is a very special happening for me here now. And wherever it came from, I'm ready to accept it.
And then to have your brother deliver the induction speech, Rayford Johnson, has to be particularly special.
It was a very special moment. In fact, 6 minutes after I knew that I was going to be one of the inductees, I called Ray and asked him to be my presenter.
You know, there are those that will say that perhaps you were the best athlete in this family, even though he was the gold medalist in decathlon. I know Dick Nolan, who used to coach you, said he'd never, ever coached an athlete like you. And a lot of other people have said that had you decided to stay with track and you were a great hurdler, you might well have competed in the decathlon yourself.
Well, I appreciate that, Frank, very much. And track and field, as you know, was my #1 sport. That was my love there. And I took up the hurdles, a race that Ray was involved in. And I outdid him one shot there. I was an NC2A high hurdles champion in 1960 at UC Berkeley, and Big Brother never got that. So I put one on the board against him.
You have a great relationship, don't you?
Absolutely. It's a mutual admiration society. I think I've helped Ray out a lot, and for sure he's helped me out a lot.
Jimmy, there aren't many areas in the game of football that have changed as much over the last 15 years or so as playing in the defensive secondary. The way the rules have really been tightened up. What would it be like, you think, making the transition, trying to play today? Because the guys are really handcuffed a lot today.
Well, I'll tell you, it would be a tough transition, but basically with my skills coming in, you know, I was a man-to-man type of guy, and my very last year with Coach Monty Clark, I was adapted to the zone coverage. So I think I have all the tools, and if I had an opportunity to come back and try these guys today, I'd have to think I'd be successful.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, but it really has changed.
Oh, it's been some tremendous changes, absolutely tremendous changes. You know, all for the better, you know, I think, because it opens up the offense.
You also were thought of initially as a wide receiver, I understand. Well, they needed Jimmy Johnson defensively there because Emmanuel makes the catch as Klein airs one out and he beats the corner.
Well, now we know what June Jones and Emmanuel were talking about over on the sideline. There's Emmanuel, again, we mentioned earlier, does about a 4.3 40. And it's what we can say is this touchdown happened because Jimmy Johnson was not in the coverage.
Yep, that's right. Bobby Ross is trying to get Jimmy suited up as we speak here.
Now tell us about that cornerback play right there.
Well, first of all, he should have got with the guy, and it shouldn't have been more than a step off of him, so he could have driven on the ball.
Got caught looking into the backfield.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Jimmy, what are you doing these days?
Well, I'm out on the West Coast, living in Mill Valley, and just got with a new sports agency, E.H. Banks and Associates out of San Pablo, so I hope to be kind of talking to these collegiate guys and professional guys.
Okay. Jimmy Johnson, congratulations, sir.
Thank you, Al. It's a pleasure.
Great to see you.
Long way from Kingsburg, California.
Thank you, Frank. That's for sure.
God bless. New Hall of Fame.
God bless. Good. Thank you very much.
Real proud of him.
Thank
Jimmy
you.
Johnson. And the score is now 17-14, San Diego.
That touch.
Great house. You know, I think the world would be a better place if people could sit down together and enjoy a good meal.
Welcome.
I also think to some extent the world would be a better place if chicken is as good on the inside as it is on the outside. That's why we make our extra tasty crispy chicken real crispy on the outside and real tasty on the inside. That may not make for a better world, but it sure makes for a better meal. If you give someone a good meal at a fair price, they'll come back to you.
Is the gray in your mustache or beard making you look too old? Now there's Just for Men Brush-In Color Gel, specially for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. This brush-in gel stays put to penetrate hard-to-color hair. In 5 minutes, rinse. Your mustache or beard blends with your natural hair color, and it won't fade or wash out.
Now that's a lot better.
Just for Men Color Gel, from the leader in men's hair coloring.
It still bugs me that I waited to try Old Spice High Endurance just because I thought all deodorants work the same. Dumb. This proves it's the best. Try it. If you don't think it's the best, call 1-800-PROVE-IT and they'll buy you a stick of yours. Take the High Endurance Challenge from Old Spice. I did.
To soothe athlete's foot, Desinex does it. But to cure athlete's foot, Desinex does it. Only Desinex has UDA to both soothe the discomfort and kill the fungus. To soothe and cure, Desinex does it all.
Jim Kelly and the defending AFC champion Buffalo Bills host the Washington Redskins. It's a prime-time NFL preseason special, August 8th on ABC.
In other words, we're done. And we're back in Canton, Ohio, where the Chargers are leading 17-14. Falcons cashing in on that last drive. Perry Klein making his pro debut, and it pays off with a catch by Bert Emanuel to drive the Falcons to within 3. And now Atlanta to kick off. Todd Peterson from the 30-yard line sends it down to the 10-yard line. Andre Coleman to the 28. Not sure if Bert Emanuel necessarily had a gift in mind here. I think he was just a little exultant, and the next thing you know, there goes the football.
As Dan pointed out, it's a good thing it wasn't his wallet. Well, it's kind of like, don't come out of the end zone. It's tough to go back. Once he hung that ball out over the fence, I think the fans thought that it was fair game. But I don't think that's the last touchdown catch for Emanuel.
And Willie Clark, the defensive cornerback, the third-round draft pick out of Notre Dame, I imagine he will be taking a long look at that with the defensive coaching staff. And he just let Emanuel run right by him.
Kicking team, number 53.
He may catch as many as he throws.
Be a re-kick here as the kicking team was offside. That means the kickoff will now take place from the 25-yard line. Here's Clark, an interesting day for him, an 86-yard interception return, and then he gets beat. Now he's looking for the cloud, so it gets a little cooler in here.
Well, such is the life of a rookie a lot of times in training camp. It's you look like the player that they thought you were when they drafted you on one play, and the next play you look like the rustiest free agent that ever tried out for anybody. And coaches see through it. They see the ability, they see the constant improvement. At least they hope they see it. And you get some time to evolve in this league, especially if you're a high draft choice like Clark taken in the 3rd round.
New linebacker Dennis Gibson from Detroit. He's going to take over the spot vacated when Gary Plummer left to go to San Francisco.
Gibson was a starter in Detroit for 6 or 7 years, so San Diego people feel that they got a pretty good swap, that they're getting a player who in many ways reminds them of Plummer.
Kick now taken at the 17-yard line and run back up to the 30-yard line by Andre Coleman. Well, with the kickoffs moved back to the 30, and that one after the penalty to the 25. We talked about it before. It had reached the point where very few kicks, or fewer and fewer, were being returned. As you can see, in 1973, when they were kicking off from the 40-yard line, 74.4% were returned. Then they moved it back to the 35, and it went up over 90. And on the right-hand side, you can see the diminishing returns through the years to the point where last year, only about 2 out of 3 kickoffs were returned, and the league wants to see that go back up to between 85 and 90%.
We're getting people like Brad DeLuiso, who was kicking it consistently out of the end zone for the Giants a year ago.
Here's Trent Green, the new quarterback for San Diego, and he throws a little screen pass out to Tony Vincent.
It's just easily explained by the emergence of the soccer-style kicker. The majority of kickers in the league prior to '74 were conventional kickers, and since then we have seen the evolution of the soccer-style kicker, where they just don't dominate. It's exclusively soccer-style, and you drive the ball higher and deeper. And it's a wise move, I think, backing it up to the 30.
I think it's a combination of juiced balls and corked shoes.
Well, we'll take that up with Albert Bell later.
You know, we talk about all these changes. There's such a profound philosophical difference on the part of a lot of people when they think about this game as opposed to baseball, Al, which goes on forever with no changes.
False start, offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
But football, it changes almost in maybe every decade, a great deal. And I think it has to do a lot with the players changing, their speed, their size, their abilities, and there's the movement over the right side. That's Isaac Davis again. That's the third infraction today, I think. A couple of holds, and now that one. But a lot of people don't like it, but I mean, there is a reason for it. And we'll try to discuss that today.
Second down and 9. And the catch is made by Chris Thomas. Oftentimes, all it takes is just a little tweaking. You know, what football's done, we've detailed today. Remember, baseball went through a period where the pitchers were really dominating like crazy in the late 60s. And what they did is they took the mound from 15 inches high down to 10 inches, and that brought it back. And you know, we're talking about height here. There's the difference between, well, the old tee and the new tee, and that's one of the differences this year in the kickoffs.
I think your use of the word tweaking is right, Al. That's what they're doing. It's not a wholesale huge change, but it's subtle enough, I think, that it will have an impact.
Third down and 2 now as Trent Green retreats and throws complete on a little out pattern. We've got a flag down on the far side. Johnny Barnes made that last catch. 5:56 remaining. We're in the third quarter. Gary Lanes had a busy day. 17-14
Pass
San
interference.
Diego.
Offense, number 86, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
Alfred Papuno. You look at Bobby Ross, and you realize, as you take a look at the play again, how precarious it is to be a head coach. Yeah.
There was a pretty good shot that Papuno laid on Lemuel Stinson. Stinson, I don't think, was really trying to challenge the 255-pound Papuno, and
Stinson's a little guy. He goes about 175 pounds, and he took a heck of a shot.
Third down and 12 from the 27-yard line. Green. And throws over the middle, and a catch is made up at the 45 by Vance Johnson. Talking about Bobby Ross. Ross is in only his third year. He begins his third year, and yet in seniority, he's already 12th among the 28 coaches. He's been there longer than half the coaches in the league right now.
Hey, guys, we were talking about the rule changes. Here's another good look. Take a look here on the right of your screen. That's the offensive tackle, Vaughn Parker. Look how far off the ball he is. His counterpart at the top of the screen as well. And that is really an aid in protecting the quarterback. Now, what tackles are going to have to do...
It's only by inches, isn't it, Dan, that you can now set back further?
What they're going to have to watch out, Frank, is not give away a pass by getting so far off the ball and then coming up on the ball on a running play. I think that time there, Parker, who did a good job of separating himself on a pass, might have given away the fact that it was a run by crowding the line of scrimmage. These guys they're going to have to be consistent. If you're going to get that separation on a pass, you're going to have to be a little more subtle on a running play and not just telegraph it to everybody.
But on the 3rd and 12, it gives you a better positioning on the defensive end.
Vincent picked up 7 on the last run on 2nd down and 3 now. Green, and the receiver fell down. It's incomplete. Johnny Barnes falling along the sideline. 3rd down and 3.
A lot of slips today and a lot of tired legs. These players going on 2-a-day workouts still at this point in training camp, come in with very dead legs, and what you have are dead legs on a dead field.
And resting them for a game like this, not a high priority with the coaching staff.
No, this is a scrimmage for the coaching staff.
They're still trying to find out who can play and who can't.
Green throws. Catch made at the 37-yard line by the Vance. Vance Johnson, a marker down. Back at the 48, however.
Good move on the part of Johnson.
He's coming back.
Somebody chewed up quite a divot down there at the 36-yard line. They may have to get the grounds crew out to fix that one. That's a big hole.
Old faces, new places, and a ton of them. Just a few. Clyde Simmons and Andre Waters and Seth Joyner all go from Philly to Buddy Ryan. It would figure.
Buddy West.
Ken Norton goes from Dallas to San Francisco. Big acquisition there. Henry Eller, the all-time leading receiver for the Rams, is now a Redskin. John L. Williams leaves Seattle. He goes to Pittsburgh. Reggie Cobb goes from Tampa Bay to Green Bay, and Jackie Harris goes in the reverse direction, the great tight end. They're going to miss him. And Albert Lewis, who with Kevin Ross was so much a part of that KC secondary, is now a Raider. So Ross is here, and Lewis is gone as well. 3rd and 13 at the 42-yard line.
Where's the flag? Make it deep.
Flag goes down as there was encroachment, and the pass is incomplete.
How would you like to be Albert Lewis coming into Kansas City in a Raider uniform this season?
Yeah.
Offside defense, number 94, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
David Wilkins. Now quarterback changes, and there have been a ton, including, of course, Jeff George going to Atlanta. Warren Moon is now a Viking. Scott Mitchell from Miami to Detroit. Now the Marinos back with Miami. Rodney Peete goes to Dallas to back up Aikman. Jim McMahon is now a Cardinal. Jim Harbaugh at Indy. Mark Griffin is now in Cleveland. Jim Everett from the Rams to New Orleans. Kramer to Chicago. And Bernie Kosar is the new backup to Marino for Don Shula. 3rd down pass is incomplete, and they'll punt.
I think the movement, the mass movement we saw this year, we won't be duplicating next year. It'll still be the free agency movement, but nothing like it has been this year. One thing we didn't point out, the average salary has now also moved up to, what, a little under $800,000 a player? It's grown rather remarkably.
It's about what it was when you played, right?
Yes.
That might have been
a 100-year contract now to come close.
It might have been a team payroll.
I think it might have been.
Yeah, stop and think about it.
Darren Bennett sends a wobbler to the 18-yard line. And the run back of 6 yards by Tony Smith to the 24. Falcons will take over there. 3:34 to go in the 3rd. San Diego 17, Atlanta 14.
Hey, Jack Nicklaus, you say you drive a Lincoln Town Car for lots of reasons. Can you give us a few?
Sure. Well, 1, smooth, comfortable ride. 2, roomy interior. 3, it's incredibly quiet. 4, I think I'll stop at 3.
Lincoln Town Car, what a luxury car should be.
This is a Goodyear AquaTread with a 60,000-mile warranty, and this is a bucket of water. At highway speeds, Goodyear AquaTread pumps away over a gallon of water every second, thanks to its deep groove aqua channel. Over a gallon a second. That's 396 gallons per mile. Think about it. The next time it's pouring buckets. The all-season AquaTread, only from Goodyear. We say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Debbie, these shots are fabulous. Beautiful, Debbie.
Better than the last time, Tony?
Absolutely.
It's my job to make sure people look good. A few weeks ago while doing test shots with Debbie, I noticed something. Dandruff. So I told her about Head & Shoulders. You see, regular shampoos merely rinse flakes away, so they could come back. But look, Head & Shoulders helps stop flakes from even forming. See the difference? Yeah, picture perfect. Head & Shoulders turns dandruff problems into beautiful hair.
This fall, the adventure begins.
Watch out!
McKenna, coming soon to ABC.
That's the lineup in prime time tomorrow on ABC, beginning at 7 o'clock Eastern and Pacific. 6 Central and Mountain, America's Funniest Home Videos, the new America's Funniest People, Lois and Clark, the new Adventures of Superman, and the new miniseries, Barbara Hershey starring in that, Stay the Night. Canton, Ohio. Late third quarter, Atlanta has the ball. They're down by 3, and this is Jamal Anderson, a rookie from Utah. And June Jones said that he wanted to take an extensive look at one Mr. Anderson during training camp as they try to fill a backup running back spot.
4th round draft pick, Utah. Seeing a lot of new faces and new names right here at the Hall of Fame game as we move into the later stages of it.
It's 2nd down and 4, and time called.
You talk about new faces in new places. Wait till...
False start. Offense, number 86. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Wait until, that's how many players we've seen so far, and that number will increase. Wait until a year from today if you want to talk about new faces in new places. The Hall of Fame game next year has the Charlotte Panthers playing the Jacksonville Jaguars here in Canton, Ohio.
Look inside the hole.
That's the Gifford bust is in there somewhere, but that will be an event. I believe both of those cities had media contingents here this weekend just prepping for next season. That's how excited those two communities are to get ready to get the NFL season started.
Here's Klein taken off, and with some nifty running, and a flag goes down. He takes it out to the 40-yard line. It's going to come back. It's another hold. I don't know about you, but I may need a whole year to get ready for that game. You talk about not being able to tell the players without a scorecard.
The first game of an expansion franchise is the ultimate new faces in new places.
Interesting too, Dan, how they're going to expand.
Offense, number 96. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
It's has not been totally determined as to how they will be stocked.
No,
even where they're going to play, the alignment. So they have a lot ahead of them. But there is unbelievable enthusiasm in those two new franchises.
Well, Jacksonville, I believe, did an hour-long show from Canton here last night just on the experience of the Hall of Fame game. This is the first preseason game of the season, while the beginning of the NFL season is always anticipated and appreciated by true football fans. I don't think it has sent the cities of Atlanta and San Diego to a fever pitch, this game in particular, but it certainly will the Carolinas and Jacksonville.
Here's Jamal Anderson.
It'll be the biggest game they ever played.
I think Jacksonville's a 1-point favorite.
There he is.
That me?
There he is.
My old head.
That's your old head.
Yeah.
Does it bear a striking difference to the new one?
I can't wait to bring Cody in there and let him look at that thing.
Oh,
let him press the video. They have all these plays from all the members of the Hall of Fame. You can get a video, watch him play. And sadly enough, so much of mine is in black and white.
Well, he'll be justifiably proud.
Well, we'll get Turner to colorize it for you.
Now that is a thought.
3rd and 13 at the 21-yard line. And once again, Jamal Anderson brings it up to the 26. It's 4th down, and in comes the punting unit with a minute to go in the 3rd quarter, and the Chargers on top 17-14. Dan shoulder pads and helmet.
That was the year the NFL was born, 1920. As we celebrate this 75th year, and right here in Canton, Ohio.
Looks like insulation, doesn't it?
Well, the Canton Bulldogs were one of those original teams, and that's why this Hall of Fame is here. The league was born in an automobile showroom.
That and the fact that Pete Rozelle pushed it for so many years. With certain owners who wanted it.
Scott Tyner kicks, and just lucky to hold on is Andre Coleman. He's tackled by Elbert Shelley with 31 seconds to play in the 3rd.
We all depend on gasoline to fuel our engines. The problem is, some of us use it the wrong way. Never use gasoline to clean things, and never use it to remove things. You can't see gasoline vapors, but they are very dangerous. So keep it away from your children, or your whole life could change in a blink of an eye. Don't use gasoline indoors, and keep it tightly sealed, because what you can't see can kill you.
Alternative math. What do 1 croissant sandwich, 1 order of hash browns, and 1 hot coffee add up to?
$1.99.
At Burger King, just $1.99 every day. We may not be the world's #1 fast food place. It just tastes that way.
To truly appreciate Lincoln Mark 8's premium sound system, just crank it up. Lincoln Mark 8, the luxury coupe with a 32-valve, 280 horsepower sound system. Drive everything else first.
When sports cream, when arms are sore, when legs ache, when muscles hurt. Why sports cream? Massaging sports cream in brings fast pain relief. No medicine-y smell, no odor. Why sports cream? Because it works.
Well, Clay Matthews, the Brown, he's used to playing games in this territory, a little bit up the road. Pierce Holt, the former 49er, a little wisdom and knowledge.
How can you be Clay Matthews and be the oldest defensive player in the National Football League and go to a new team and you're not even the oldest player on that team? Mike Ken, I think, is like 5 months older than 5 weeks older than Clay Matthews.
He is.
That's 2 17-year players, 1 offensive lineman, 1 defensive linebacker, both on the same ball club. Now, I guess there's 2 rocking chairs in the Falcons locker room.
Well, Mike Kent's kind of indicated that he's going to retire. He has semi-officially announced it.
He's said that this is going to be his last year. It was nice. There's Mike Ken, former great player at Michigan, and really you stop and think about keeping 2 physical specimens that can keep themselves together over 17 years. It's astounding.
End of 3, and back we come to Canton, Ohio after this word from our ABC station.
Next week, Coach moves to its new night, Monday. Nominated for 4 Emmys. Catch the Coach Gang now on Mondays here on ABC.
Nominated for more Emmys than any other series in history.
I just blew that guy away for nothing.
One of the most explosive shows of the season.
I killed 2 men.
NYPD Blue. Tuesday. Viewer discretion is advised.
At Pep Boys, you know the name brand quality of our air filters. At other places, you don't. Once again, uh-huh, uh-uh. Oh, and you won't pay more for our quality from $2.99. At Pep Boys, if we don't have it, you don't want it. Just look at the selection of car care products at Pep Boys. Now look at other places. Once more. Wow. Ooh. Oh, and when you look for every one of these at just 99 cents. At Pep Boys, if we don't have it, you don't want it.
So, what's a Hymenoptera formicide?
An ant.
What do roaches eat?
Lint, grease.
How can you answer your office phone at a different location?
I have no idea.
Well, you can't be an expert at everything. So to help with your phones, US West created the Small Business Group. We'll answer your questions and help you run your business the way you want to. After all, you know bugs.
One of the favorite entrees of the Black Widow is the mop.
And we know phones. The Small Business Group at US West.
The Great Alaska Adventure, next week at 10 o'clock on News Channel 3.
Pretty tumultuous offseason, you might say, for one Andre Rison. I know many of you read about it. His girlfriend, Lisa Left Eye Lopes, the hip-hop singer, apparently has been charged with arson in the burning down of Andre's home. And, well, I don't know what the disposition of that case is right now, but I do know that Andre has to get everything back together. Last I heard that they were still boyfriend and girlfriend. And they expect a big year out of Rison, who looked good today in the first quarter.
Well, everyone in Atlanta says that he's, even with the distractions, turned in a remarkably consistent training camp so far. Andre, who feuded publicly with Jerry Glanville, not the least bit upset that June Jones is the new coach, and a lot of people think that Andre is going to be rejuvenated. and you stop and think about it, as an unhappy ball player, he still had 86 receptions last year and 15 touchdown passes. What does the guy do if he's really happy?
And has more yardage in the first 5 years than any player ever to play this game.
I mean, his last 5 years, guys, we're talking 52, 82, 81, 93, and 86 receptions. Now, that is just not really, really good. That's phenomenal work.
And he's playing in the right offense for it, too. That would be cut down remarkably playing somewhere else, but this has been the perfect offense for Andre Rison. And it remains the same under June Jones.
He's going to lend new meaning to Byrne the secondary, though, this year. I'll tell you that.
I know that.
Fourth quarter. 13 and a half to play. Chargers on top, 17-14.
I really got to keep an eye out for you.
A left eye.
Talking about Trent Green, have we given all of his numbers, stats, and background, the quarterback now for San Diego?
I could really throw a guy a softball, can't I?
We're right back in sync.
He's there.
Green throws, and the catch is not made. He's out of bounds at the 25.
Jimmy Barnes couldn't get both of them down in bounds. Johnny Barnes, rather. Out of Hampton College.
.13 to play in the fourth quarter. Chargers on top, 17-14. Third down and 7 at the 43-yard line. Trent Green, flag down, fires and throws behind the intended receiver, Johnny Barnes. With a marker, though. Line judge throwing this one. Gary Lane is the referee.
Get so many different groups and different combinations of offensive players at this point in the game. It gets a little sticky.
Illegal formation.
There's a
number 70 was set in the backfield. Penalties declined. Fourth down.
A good look at Lincoln Kennedy, one of the largest players in the National Football League, the first-round draft choice of the Falcons last year. He alternates somewhere between 350 and 380 pounds, taking into consideration whatever he had for breakfast and lunch that day.
When you're that big, that's not much of a percentage of fluctuation, is it?
Well, he needs to get it down. That's too heavy, and he'd be doing himself a favor to get it down.
Bennett's kick is run back to the 23 by Corey Dixon, a rookie out of Nebraska, and an omnipresent flag has been thrown.
Again, all the different combinations that are being tried now by the two sidelines. Players on the field that have never taken a serious offensive snap together.
Personal foul, 15-yard face mask on the runner, 15 yards, first down.
Pretty obvious one, right out in the open. That's not where you're going to get away with it. Willie Clark throwing the flag.
They came from Alaska and North Dakota, California, and even farther west. This summer, we invited everyone who owns a Saturn to visit us in Tennessee, the place their car was born. We called it the Saturn Homecoming. People could see where their cars had been built and spend some time with the men and women who built them. They could see where the idea for a new kind of car company had taken shape, and we could thank them for believing we could do it. 44,000 people gave up their usual summer vacations to spend them with us at a car plant. Pretty good turnout for our first big party. Of course, not everything went exactly the way we'd planned, but we were all in it together, the way we always have been.
Hey, you get into fitness, you're likely to get into athlete's foot, and that could be tough. I mean, look at
You've got all that itching and cracking stuff, and watch this. Boom, even burning. You see that? Now, that's what you call a really tough case. That's when you want a medicine that acts tough. Boom, tough-actin Tinactin. See, Tinactin cures even tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. It's clinically proven. No wonder it's the one most recommended by pharmacists. You got a tough case of athlete's foot? Get this. Boom. Tough-actin Tinactin.
World all-round champion Shannon Miller takes on the sport's best, plus the boxing finals. The Goodwill Games continue from Russia, next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Well, it's the Hall of Fame weekend. Leroy Kelly, the great Cleveland Browns running back, another of the enshrinees, and we're going to talk to Leroy in just a moment as the Falcons begin this drive. They trail by 3 with 12:44 to go in the fourth quarter. Perry Klein is the quarterback. The ball is at the 38-yard line. And Klein hands the ball off to Jamal Anderson for a gain of 7. It's a thrill for anybody to go into the Hall of Fame, but Leroy, I have to think making your mark just up the road in Cleveland has to make this really something extra special for you.
Al, it's just like coming home, you know. I tell you, this morning in the parade, you know, it seemed like I was in Cleveland, Ohio.
Did Jimmy Brown call you Leroy? I know you took over for him when he all of a sudden up and retired suddenly. And did he call you and say anything to you about your induction?
No, not really. He congratulated me. We were at a Bobby Mitchell Hall of Fame golf tournament about a couple weeks ago, and we talked down there.
How was it taking over for Jim Brown? You knew he played only 9 years. He set these incredible marks, and you, Leroy Kelly, have to come in and take over as running back for the Cleveland Browns.
Well, Frank, I tell you, a lot of people think I took his position, but actually I stayed at halfback position, and Ernie Green moved over to fullback. So.
And they designed the offense for you.
Definitely. Well, our offense system, both backs could probably run, you know, either play, you know, all the plays.
Leroy, I had the pleasure of standing here as a proud teammate when Jackie Smith was here. Now I get to just be plain, unadulterated fan, because this is my hometown. I was born and raised a Cleveland Browns fan, and there is such a love affair in the state of Ohio with the Cleveland Browns and the players who played for the Browns. I think I know what you mean when you talked about it's like coming home, because we love the Browns. We grew up loving the Brownies, and we thought when Jimmy Brown left that football as we had known it ended. And Leroy Kelly proved to us that wasn't the case. You were great, and we loved you for it.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
What are you doing now, Leroy?
Right now?
Playing golf is what he's doing. That's not bad.
Well, since I've been inducted, I'm doing a few card shows, you know, personal appearances, you know.
10 handicap? Come on. I mean, you get me mixed doing a
And you know, if he admits to a 10, he's really on a 6.
I want nothing to do with Leroy the golf course. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you, Frank.
Well deserved.
Thank you. Dan.
Go Brownies. Huh?
Hey, pleasure.
Yeah.
Al,
Leroy, you were great to watch. Congratulations to you,
Thank
sir.
you. I tell you, it's a great feeling.
Okay.
It's an honor and a great feeling. I'm very happy. My family's happy.
Good for you.
Leroy Kelly.
Bless, man.
And the
I'm
fans
with you
really
now,
gave
buddy.
him a fantastic reception, and he wasn't kidding during that parade. That was quite a sight this morning through the streets of Canton, Ohio.
Oh, like you were sitting on the curb.
I have a room that was overlooking the parade room, and I opened up the windows.
Besides, it was on local TV.
Right. I know what room to rent.
If you opened up your windows, it was to yell down to everybody to shut up. You're trying to
Well,
sleep.
it was a little early.
Dan and I know those windows don't open.
Well, there's a way to get them open.
You talking about the parade this morning would be the equivalent of me talking about what it was like being up there when Neil Armstrong was walking on the moon.
Well, I happened to be with Aldrin that afternoon. And Klein throws into the end zone, but incomplete. Intended for Joe Rogers, a rookie from Texas Southern.
Ooh, and Rogers could have been a hero.
Yep. It's going to be 3rd down and 5.
That's where the legs just kind of look. He just couldn't get another stride out of it. Kind of hard to leap and catch a football. You're better off staying in the full sprint. You'll cover more ground than you will by diving for it.
No, but he certainly showed that he's going to go after the football. A fine effort.
3rd and 5 for Perry Klein and the Falcons. Little play fake and a bootleg, and the pass is underthrown, intended for the ex-Jet Terrence Mathis.
Well, Cornell Thomas didn't get the sack, and he didn't get the hit on the quarterback, but he certainly forced the incompletion.
Yeah, he showed a lot of speed, Cornell Thomas, and he forced Perry Klein to throw way off balance, and he couldn't get the completion out of it.
He's got the toughest road of just about anybody, and not just individually, but he symbolizes an entire genre of football player, coming from a small school, Western Georgia, and being a free agent. You've got to really be special to overcome that.
Harold Alexander's and contact was made inside the 10-yard line. A flag goes down. The ball is down at the 4.
He was hit.
Charles Washington.
He was hit by his own man, wasn't he?
Well, I know that Washington and Darian Gordon were involved, and there may have been a third party as well.
Well, I think it was Rodney Harrison who actually made the hit. He was right there. All right, there's... Oh, he's trying to block one of the... he actually blocks one of the Falcons right into it. Charles Washington was the Falcon there, but he's actually driven into him, it looks like, by Harrison.
There is no foul. The man was blocked into the receiver.
Exactly.
First down.
That's a good call. They don't work much on special teams in training camps, and it shows.
9:41 to play in the 4th.
Wanna taste, you can't turn back. Trying to Pringles double stack. Double stack, vacuum pack. You got to like that. Take the space out of Big Bangs. Don't look so big. That's the drag. And they got pieces of those greases. Pringles got more whole chips, you bet. 2 full stacks is what you get. Get the Pringles double stack of chips. Doubly, 100 resist. Yeah. Once you pop, you can't stop.
Long before we ever built the first car here at Saturn, we were looking for ways to be a little friendlier to our planet. We've had some great ideas.
It's a car that runs on vegetables.
No idea is too crazy. All told, last year we reprocessed over 40,000 tons of material.
Take the bumper off of the car and make a skateboard. We can make the broken down glass into marble.
To have a car that's totally recyclable someday would be a magnificent event. I'd like to be part of that.
To know what's the big deal about baking soda toothpaste. So I checked into it. Turns out there's more to how baking soda cleans than just its gentle cleaning action.
Tests show baking soda also cleans by helping neutralize plaque acids, and Arm & Hammer Dental Care has more baking soda than any other brand.
I didn't know that. So I tried Arm & Hammer Dental Care. Wow, now my teeth feel really clean.
Arm & Hammer Dental Care, the baking soda toothpaste with more to clean your teeth.
I'm David Brinkley. A baseball strike week after next? The players' union says yes. The owners want to hold down their pay. The owners say too many teams are losing too much money. Sunday.
Tomorrow, we'll review the Tour de France for you on ABC Sports, beginning at 1 Eastern, 12 noon Central and Pacific. Then the Goodwill Games from St. Petersburg, Russia, comes your way. Shannon Miller looking for the gold in the women's all-around. A reminder on Monday, it's the new night for Coach. Coach moving to Monday night. And you've got back-to-back episodes coming your way this Monday. And then Barbara Hershey in Stay the Night, primetime Monday. And then the following Monday, preseason football. First of 3 for us during the preseason. San Diego starts from the 4-yard line, and carrying the ball is Ron Rivers for the first time for a gain of 5.
What a lead-in we have, I might add, on Monday night.
Coach,
I like that.
That's right.
The Eastern time zone.
Craig T. Nelson.
We got him started, didn't we? What was that, 89 or 90 down in Washington? He came on, and
that's right. Owes it all to us, too.
Dan said, who are you?
Coach Hayden Fox. Here is Ron Rivers flowing his way out to the 14-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 1. All right, Fjording his way out. The Chargers, 8-8 last year. Funny, most people, I don't think, expect that much from them. Most of the preseason prognosticators have them 6-10 or 7-9, but they could surprise a few people. The problem for them is they're in a very tough division.
Probably the most competitive division, top to bottom in the NFL.
That 8-8 coming off 11-5 a year ago is a little bolt of reality for Bobby Ross.
You look at the quality that's in the AFC West and the survivor. I was going to say the winner of that division. I think the survivor of that division might be a better way to look at it, is going to earn it, because there's not a soft touch anywhere in that division.
Even Seattle figures to be better this year, and clearly at the very top with the Raiders and Denver and Kansas City. You have 3 teams with playoff potential.
That's what we were looking for, Al.
There's a kick. Bennett, the Australian, sends one down to the 33-yard line. And Corey Dixon gets gang tackled.
Now that's the kind of a punt that'll excite a coach.
53 yards.
And a tall one, too.
7:40 remaining. We'll talk to Randy White when we come back.
It's amazing how the right color can enhance and brighten a room.
Well, we both went down to Sears. We found this great selection of paint.
Through Saturday, Sears has every gallon of paint on sale. Thousands of beautiful contemporary colors.
With Weather Beater, I think we'll sell the house before we paint again.
Save 10 to 30% a gallon on every color, every brand. Easy Living, Weather Beater, Dutch Boy. For the best finish, start at Sears, bringing America's best to you.
The feeling that we wanted, Sears matched. It worked out beautifully.
Hurry, girls, before Daddy gets up. Ooh, pretty.
Now, no more. These are Daddy's corn pops.
Oh, look, Daddy's bowl is too full.
The problem with a cereal that tastes like popcorn, only sweeter, is that it disappears like popcorn, only faster.
Mommy, that's Daddy.
We share.
Hi, girls.
Happy birthday!
Thanks, guys.
Now, let's all go make him breakfast.
Kellogg's Corn Pops. It's hard to stop when it's Pops.
I'm looking forward to the season like a slug looks forward to the rain. I'm talking about the NFL season. I'm talking about brawn and brain. Reggie White, Steve Young, Barry Foster, and players with much longer names. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the season, and especially the two-point conversion. I wrote that.
Every summer, this sleeping giant lay dormant. Now it awakes to welcome NASCAR's best in the first ever Brickyard 400 next Saturday on ABC.
What you done?
Okay, after the first play?
Randy had.
Yeah, okay.
Even for them.
We have 7:40 remaining in the fourth quarter in Canton, Ohio. 17-14. San Diego on top by 3, and Atlanta has the ball at the 35-yard line. Perry Klein is the quarterback. And Klein has been looking pretty good to this point. Sets up the screen, and then falling down is Jamal Anderson. Well, clearly when Randy White played football, a lot of people said toward the end of his career, this guy is going into the Hall of Fame. He did it today. But were you surprised that you made it in as quickly as you did? I mean, you're out of football the minimum amount of time, and here you are.
Well, I learned a long time ago, things like this you don't have control over. You just sit back, and if they come your way, boy, it's great. And being here today and spending this weekend up here in Canton, getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, I tell you, it's going to be a weekend that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. It's one of the most exciting, greatest experiences I've ever had.
Randy, I wonder if a lot of people remember that Tom Landry really had you picked out to be a middle linebacker. And I wonder if you'd be standing here today if Tom Landry would have stuck with you at middle linebacker instead of deciding you weren't a middle linebacker and making a tackle out of it.
Well, I probably wouldn't have stayed in the NFL very long if I'd have stayed at the linebacker position. I tell you, I had to, at the end, they moved me out to weak side linebacker, and I was covering Tony Dorsett one-on-one out of the backfield, and he caught the ball every time he went out for a pass, and I saw the back of his jersey going for a touchdown. So when Coach Landry moved me back into the defensive line, I tell you, that really made me happy, and I got in a position where I could react, and I felt comfortable, and, you know, that was a great move for me.
On behalf of every offensive lineman who had to play against you, I wish they would have left you at linebacker. But, Randy, your game, you had it all, obviously, but the quickness, that's what you brought that a lot of us had never seen before. Alan Page was quick off the ball in acceleration. You had a lateral quickness that surprised everybody, and how quickly you could get around somebody. Was that always there, or is that something you worked on?
Well, I think I had it to a certain extent, but I worked hard lifting weights, and worked a lot in the martial arts, developing coordination and quickness, and you know, that really helped me. You know, a lot of people talked about how strong I was, but I felt like my biggest asset was my quickness, and you know, that helped get me by guys like your old teammate Bob Young. You know, when I had to go against him on a running play, I mean, he's probably one of the toughest run blockers I ever played against. But, you know, I could get the advantage on the pass plays. I could get around him just about every time. So that's what really helped me.
You'd come up out of your stance, and he'd come up with this shake and bake. You'd start this, and you'd look like a new dance step. And I swear, you'd mesmerize the guy in front of you. I know you laugh about it because you did it to everybody.
Yeah, but I tell you what, when we played like against old Bob, and you had Jim Otis back there running the football, I had about 550 pounds coming at me. And Big Harvey's out there trying to run around rushing the passer. They hand the ball off to Otis. I got a 4-foot hole here to cover, you know. The next day I go in a meeting, Coach Landry's telling me, hey, you got to make the tackle on the line of scrimmage. I always want to say, hey, Coach, you make the tackle on the line of scrimmage. I can't do it.
You know, I never thought it was possible that Randy White could get me to feel sorry for him. All this time, poor Randy. I had the wrong attitude.
What's life like for you today, Randy?
I tell you, it's been good for me. I tell you, I live in outside of Dallas. I have a little ranch down there. I have some business interests down there, and it's I'm really enjoying 5 years. That first couple years were pretty tough. I really did miss the game, and felt like I could still play, but, you know, looking at these guys and going to training camp and looking how big they are and strong they are, and I watch them out there beating on each other. I said, you know, gee, that I used to do that. You know, you know, reality sticks in, and now I can sit back and enjoy the game, and I'm enjoying linebacker football.
As a Cowboy forever, what do you think of all of the changes that have taken place with your old club?
Well, I tell you what, change is tough. Change is always tough. But I tell you, you look at what the new regime has done since they've come into Dallas, and boy, I tell you what, I'm really, really happy for them and the job that they did turning the Cowboys around, winning 2 world championships back-to-back, in a great position to have an opportunity to do it again for the 3rd year. So, you know, I'm going to be a Dallas Cowboy all the time, and that's still the Dallas Cowboys, and I want to see them do well.
You are a Cowboy, as we saw at halftime. The martial arts, that kind of threw me off a little bit. You were really good at that. Well, you make the Power Rangers look like, you know, nothing.
How about a demonstration here?
Go, Power Rangers.
No, I tell you.
I was impressed. I was.
Well, that's something I started back in 1976 with our strength coach, Bob Ward, really got me started on it, and that came about really because of the rule changes and big guys like Dan out there, and I really wasn't a particularly big guy in my career, so I had to do something to combat them being able to reach out and grab and hold like they were doing.
Oh, man, you defensive linemen all alike, always complaining.
But, you know, I got involved with martial arts, and it really helped me and really made me a better football player. And today I still stay involved with it because it's great exercise and it's a great release for me. So it's really good. And I tell you what, I'd encourage anybody out there that has young children. They ask me all the time, what would you do with your kid? Would you want him to lift weights? Would you want him to... You know, I'd encourage them to get involved in the good martial arts program because it teaches you balance and teaches you distance. It teaches you discipline. There's a lot of positive things that come out of the martial arts.
Well, Randy, congratulations to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good visit with you. Frank, thank you.
Great.
Dan, good seeing you.
And we survived an encounter with the Manster.
All right.
Congratulations, Randy.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Randy White of the Dallas Cowboys, one of 6 inducted today into the Hall of Fame. It's 3rd down and 1 for Atlanta there at the San Diego 35. Atlanta trailing by 3. And they pick up the 1st down, and Anthony Wilson has a lot more. He takes the ball to the 25-yard line.
The Manster
from California.
I forgot that was a nickname, the Manster. But I swear Tom Landry tried to make a middle linebacker out of him.
Oh, well, you know
almost ruined a career.
You know, I don't know if you remember this, but you know the number 54 had significance because that was Chuck Howley's number, the great linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys, and then they passed it along to Randy White, and we all watched him play a little bit of linebacker and said, oh, this is going to work out okay. And then all of a sudden they put him at defensive tackle in that frog stance that the defensive linemen of the Cowboys used to get in that flex defense they ran, and then all of a sudden it wasn't funny anymore.
Here's Klein. Ooh, a little too high at the 2-yard line. Harrison Houston.
He never really lined up.
Florida was the intended receiver.
Excuse me, Al. He never really lined up across from you, did he?
No. I played across from Too Tall.
Yeah.
He and I did battle every game, and then Jethro Pugh would be across from Dobler, and as Randy said, he did his battles against Bob Young, who's now the offensive line coach of the Houston Oilers. And talk about two guys that had more than their share of upper body strength. Those two used to lock up, and it was something to watch.
Who was the toughest defensive player you ever? I know you mentioned Carl Eller. You hated to go to Minnesota.
You know, the two guys that probably gave me as hard a time as anybody, too tall one, Jack Youngblood, because he was such an opposite player.
Oh, and that's intercepted at the 6-yard line by Chris Johnson. And Johnson has given San Diego the ball back, as it appeared the Falcons were driving for at least a possible field goal attempt, which would have tied the game. And as is the case in regular season, if a preseason game is tied, it goes to overtime. But San Diego has other ideas as they take possession at the 9-yard line.
Pass protection was good. The receiver slips and falls, and
again, I think
really
you
tough to
blame that on the
field.
field.
Yeah, you can't blame that on the quarterback. That's
Harry Klein right in there, and just the receiver coming out of his cut, pulled a divot and lost his footing.
Atlanta's 3 turnovers, all on interceptions. Jeff Brom is the new San Diego quarterback. They want to take a mini look at him, and here's a good look at Ron Rivers, who bangs his way out to the 26-yard line.
Free agent rookie out of Fresno State, Ron Rivers. Just up the highway from Jimmy Johnson's home of Kingsburg, California, in the San Joaquin Valley. Not far from Bakersfield.
You know, one subject we have not covered today is Deion Sanders. If you're wondering about Sanders, there is a timeout here charged to the Falcons, and it gives us a chance to talk about Deion, who has done his job so very well with the Falcons in the time he has been with them. And he, of course, has played baseball through the years with the Braves and then joined the Falcons after the baseball season. Now Deion plays for the Cincinnati Reds. He is an unrestricted free agent. Atlanta did make an offer. He has rejected it. But now the question becomes, if there's a baseball strike, will Deion want to get back in a football uniform pretty soon? Lynn Swan, do you have any other information about that?
I certainly do. I tracked Deion down with the help of Steve Hurt in San Diego last night, and he feels like the reason he won't come back to Atlanta is because they disrespected him and his talent. Now, if there's a strike, and he does, and he's in ongoing contract negotiations with a couple of teams, Super Bowl caliber teams that he didn't want to identify, he said he still wouldn't come back to play football right away. He has a bad heel. He wants to rest it. But should mid-September come along into September and there's no resolution to the strike and he has a contract in hand, he would then go back and play football.
We might point out, too, that he is a free agent, so he can shop pretty good.
Well, but then, again, the new financial plan that's in effect in the National Football League, the salary cap, a player of Sanders' talent.
He could blow it out of the water, couldn't he?
Deion doesn't need the money, and so someone is either going to have to save room under the cap to make a play for a guy like Sanders, or they're going to have to release an equivalent number of players to equal up to his salary. It's not as easy as it used to be for a guy like Sanders to join a club halfway through the football season.
And, you know, don't cry for the Falcons completely, because D.J. Johnson, whom they acquired from the Pittsburgh Steelers, is a fine cornerback. Granted, he doesn't do what Deion Sanders does with returns and just the electricity that Sanders brings to a game, but he's a good cornerback.
Shannon Mitchell makes the catch, takes it out to the 31-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 5. There's a look at DJ.
I think what impressed me about Deion Sanders was his play in all aspects of the game was more than his reputation. We know that he's, you know, a showman, that his punt returns, his kickoff returns, his running with the ball after an interception is what really immediately catches your eye. But, you know, Deion was supporting the run. Deion was making open field tackles. The man is, even without practicing, one of the premier cornerbacks in the game of football in all aspects. And it's a talent that even if you only have him for half a year, it's hard to turn a blind eye to.
Well, it's one of the great game breakers today in football.
Well, I think the Falcons, Kenny Wolf, our producer, queuing us up here. They had 13 interceptions last year. Deion had 7 of them.
And they were 0-5 before he joined them.
He never recovered from that.
What a heartbreak for a football coach, though, to just have him for half a year.
Good old Jerry right into the broadcast booth.
Ron throws. It's intercepted. The Falcons get it back. Charles Washington is tackled at the 30-yard line with 3 minutes and 14 seconds remaining.
And overtime is alive and well in Canton.
And the shaken up Charger. Johnny Barnes, I believe, was the man who was down and shaken. Problem is shaken in another sense.
Well, again, we have seen on several occasions receivers going down and throwing off the timing with the quarterback, and that was another case of it. And again, that is attributable directly to a field that is very difficult to cut on.
When you are a new coach and you are attempting to resurrect a football team that has been a predominant loser over the years, you take the opportunity to win any game you can. And June Jones right now will do anything he can do to engineer a win here for the Atlanta Falcons. This is a team that needs to learn how to win. Preseason, regular season, it makes no difference. He wants his players to experience the feeling of winning and how it is better than anything else.
Well, I used to like to win them. If you go into training camp the next week and you feel better about, you won a football game. That's what you're out there to do.
There's a good example of how big a losers over the years the Atlanta Falcons have been. You see that they have the second worst percentage, only the Tampa Bay Bucks. And this is in any of the major pro sports. The Kings, the Cardinals, and the Colts. That is not the group of five that you want to be in.
Harry Klein wants to make sure he doesn't turn the football over again, because the least he wants to come away with is the possibility of 3 points to tie it up.
First and 10. The catch is made at the 21-yard line, and that's a first down as Corey Dixon gets it to the 19-yard line. That much time remaining. 12-yard gain. Norm Johnson has been bothered with a hamstring pull. He is in uniform. He's one of the premier kickers in the league. He missed only 1 field goal last year. However, June Jones said before the game that he does not anticipate Johnson will be kicking today at all, and he hasn't. And Todd Peterson is the guy who backs him up.
Norm went to the Pro Bowl for the Falcons last year. Stop and think about it. Only missing 1 field goal over an entire season.
And then he came back to win that game at the end against San Francisco. First down from the 19-yard line, and Klein throws. That's complete to the 12-yard line. Catch is made by Corey Dixon again.
Well, they're going to keep going right there until they get some coverage from the cornerback. And they're just not getting it.
It'll be second down and 3 at the 12.
They won't have to run a play before the 2-minute warning. Looks like they're going to be willing to let it go.
And it will be second down and a long 3 when we come back. 2 minutes to play in the Hall of Fame game at Canton, Ohio, with San Diego holding on, leading the Falcons 17-14.
This summer, we invited everyone who owns a Saturn to visit Spring Hill, a Saturn homecoming. They could see where their cars were built and meet the people who built them. We could thank them for believing in us. 44,000 people spent their vacations with us at a car plant. Of course, not everything went exactly as planned, but we were all in it together, the way we always have been.
After you shave, now there's comfort to the power of 3. It's soothing Edge Aftershave with 3 soothing formulas for 3 specific skin types. An aloe formula that's alcohol-free to soothe sensitive skin. Extra moisturizers to soothe if your skin is dry. And a cool vitamin E splash for normal skin. Soothing better than ever with the power of 3. Edge Aftershave skincare for men. Ultimate comfort. That's the Edge.
Control is everything. And once you got it, everything else just falls in place.
Pert Plus, one smart shampoo, control-enhancing conditioners.
It just works. My hair does what I want. That's enough for me.
Start a project with Minwax Wood Finish and turn new into treasured, secondhand into first-rate, ordinary into extraordinary. Because Minwax Wood Finish makes it easy to turn any project into a beautiful masterpiece. Minwax makes wood beautiful.
And we're back in Canton, Ohio, with 2 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. 17-14 San Diego. Atlanta has the ball, 2nd and 3 at the 12-yard line, and Todd Peterson awaiting an opportunity to either tie the game or, well, what he hopes is to come in and kick an extra point.
Well, if you're trying to make an impression, I'm not so sure he wouldn't rather go for the field goal. He's trying to make a name for himself, trying to catch on with somebody.
2nd and 3. And through the middle for a first down goes Anthony Wilson. He takes it to the 7-yard line. 1st and goal, Atlanta.
Lots of time. There's a clock ticking away at about 1:40. Harry Klein. He's a 9th round draft pick out of C.W. Post. Another 4th round draft pick.
Atlanta with 1 timeout at disposal as Klein goes to the air, fires into the end zone, and it is knocked away at the last moment. The helmet was jarred loose, and so was the ball.
They were side by side. The helmet and the ball were side by side. Both of them at one time, I think, in the possession of Harrison Houston.
Rodney Harrison was the one that whacked it out of there, I believe.
The ball is a little high. Going up for it is Houston. And boy, that's just a good defensive play, as you mentioned, Frank, by Harrison, knocking out both the helmet and the ball.
He saved the 6.
2nd and goal. And they keep it on the ground. And Wallace to the 5-yard line. 3rd down and goal.
No back is going to make an exaggerated cut here today without slipping.
We saw it again.
Yeah.
Tried to break it against the grain and nothing. Just too soft.
And again, Peterson waiting. 3rd down. We have 55 seconds remaining, and the clock is running. It's 3rd down and goal at the 5-yard line. That's Houston in motion to the left. Line looks that way. Now scrambles. He's got room to roll. And he's in for the touchdown.
Harry Klein, C.W. Post. Had a big year last year. Big game against Wagner a year ago.
Whoa, look at this.
It's Ozzie Smith. Harry Klein doing some somersaults.
A pretty good drive he engineered there. Beat up on Greg Lane, the cornerback on the right side, got it down, ran the ball up the middle, took it in himself.
That might be the most athletic move we saw all day.
And the kick is just good off the foot of Todd Peterson.
He did it on a soft field.
So Bobby Ross's team has led almost all the way, but here, well,
backflip.
Look at this.
Right. Not a very good dismount and landing, but
well, it's a field soft, Dan.
That's right.
You know what? How many times have we? I think that we'll get a little talking to that'll be the last time that happens. Come down the wrong way and turn your ankle. How many times have you seen some player in a exuberant mode there ends up hurting himself? It's not bad though, seeing that kind of spontaneous expression of happiness. Good for you.
Harry Klein gives Atlanta a 21-17 lead, and he's a guy battling for that number 3 spot. Jeff George is clearly going to be number 1. Bobby Hebert number 2, and then June Jones said, I want to see Klein win that number 3 job, and he's doing nothing to dissuade Mr. Jones to this point.
And the number 2 quarterback that we watched today perform, Bob Galliano, not terribly impressive. Harry Klein being able to move the football.
Klein went to Palisades High School in Los Angeles, the same school that produced Jay Schrader. 10-yard line. Here's Andre Coleman.
Outside!
Up to the 33-yard line he goes with 31 ticks remaining. Jeff George started the game, and he's going to be their guy. But they play 5 games, so plenty of time to get him ready for the regular season. By the way, these two teams will meet. They don't meet very often. In fact, they played only 4 games in history, and this year they will meet at Atlanta on the 6th of November. Trent Green trying to get out of bounds and does get there to stop the clock. 23 seconds remaining.
This is another aspect of the game they do not work on much in training camp, certainly not the first couple of weeks, and that is in a given situation like this, final seconds of a game, you've got to move it down the field. You've got to get 6 rather than 3, and these are all specialty situations that you work on during the course of a season, but not this early in the preseason.
Second and 5. Green throws, catch is made. That's a first down, but they've got to pick up more ground than that because they've got only 17 seconds left, and they're down by 4. Catch made by Walter Dunson.
That's a good effort on the part of Trent Green to get that ball into the air. He was under attack.
Stan Humphries, the starting San Diego quarterback, saw brief action in the first quarter today. Incomplete. Well, boys, it's great to have our crew back for the 25th year, as always, headed by our producer Ken Wolf and our director Craig Janoff. Gang upstairs here, we've got George Hill handling the stats. Malibu Kelly Right Eye Hayes handling the spotting. Gang is all here.
When are you going to move him to Aspen?
We already did.
Well, I know, but you have to give a name for it.
No. It's, I mean, you change Babe Ruth from the Sultan of SWAT?
That's got a point.
Interesting. Yeah, really interesting.
Get out of bounds, sir.
Well, I do love this game, boys, but let's face it, we are creatures of the night, and it'll be good to get back under the lights.
Ernest Wyatt made that last catch, and time has expired, or has it?
Green's pass was caught by Ernest Wyatt for a first down.
We've got a marker and a delay. It was a charge team timeout, is what it was.
And they're going to reset 4 seconds onto the game clock.
And a first down.
Don't go away. We've got some post-game interviews coming up. Various excitement emanating here from Canton.
Oh, it has been a great week, though.
Hopefully
every
yeah,
time we come here, we're impressed with the job they do in Canton, what a great institution it is.
Hopefully we'll get a chance to see some of the highlights of some of the induction speeches. It's always an emotional moment on the steps right across the way. And there,
well, with 4 seconds, you do one thing.
I see that young man there on his father's shoulders. There are the steps. I remember when I was young, standing out there and watching Pete Rozelle and various celebrities from the NFL break ground on that building.
Hail Mary to try to win it, and it's knocked down in the end zone. And that's going to do it.
I was here.
Well, that's when they were breaking ground. They were just Pete Rozelle put that spade in the ground and said, "This is where the Hall of Fame is going to rise up out of the ground." And
I had seen the dinner the night before. And
did you really?
Yeah, it was great moments here in Canton. Played in the first game in 1962.
Well, that means we were both here.
Yeah, well,
I was right down there on about the 30-yard line.
I got to leave.
So the final score is 21-17 Atlanta, and let's check in with Lynn Swan.
Al, thank you very much. I'm with Jeff George, and Jeff, congratulations on this game. June Jones is talking about your talent, about your comfort level with the system. Are you feeling that comfortable?
Well, I feel really good right now, and obviously, it looks good right now as we started off the first quarter with what we wanted to do, and like it is with everything else in the preseason games, you just want to come away healthy, and we're fortunate enough that we won the game.
What was your attitude coming in this game? What did you want to accomplish?
Well, we just wanted, like I said, number one, we wanted to stay away from injuries, but we you bang up on guys weekend or day in and day out, and you know, it's good to play against an opponent. So you know, it's good to see this stuff on films. Now we can go back and work hard next week.
Mouse Davis is with this team, June Jones. They know how to put the ball in the air, but they also pride themselves on being people coaches. You know, they get with the people, the quarterback. They get into your psyche and your personality. Do you feel a comfort with them that they can take you farther than just your athletic skills?
Well, I really do. You know, 4 years ago when I first met these guys, you know, I knew sometime down the line that you hope you're going to play for somebody like that, and you want to win for them. As players, you hear so much about being involved with a player's coach, and they're definitely that. So I'm excited, and I think everybody's excited about the Falcons this year. Andre Rison walked up to me on the sideline, and he said, "Lynn, watch out for Jeff and I this year. We're going to do great numbers." How do you feel about that? Well, you know, it's exciting. We have a lot of talent around here, and Andre is, in my mind, the best in the league, and he proves that year after year. So it just makes my job a lot easier. I just got to get back there and get him the ball. Let me ask you about one rookie on the team, Bert Emanuel.